The Kansas City Chiefs kicker, Harrison Butker, a conservative Catholic, is facing all sorts of backlash. It's over comments he made during a commencement speech at a Catholic college about working women. Take a listen.
I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother.
He also had this to say about the LGBTQ Pride Month. Take a look.
I am certain the reporters at the AP could not have imagined that their attempt to rebuke and embarrass places and people like those here at Benedictine wouldn't be met with anger, but instead met with excitement and pride. Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it, but the true God-centered pride that is cooperating with the Holy Ghost to glorify Him.
Now, it's important to know the context that he did receive a standing ovation from the graduates for his speech, but the backlash, especially online, has been fierce. The NFL released a statement saying, quote, his views are not those of the NFL as an organization. The NFL is steadfast in our commitment to inclusion. And then check this out. A Change.org petition calling for Butker to be dismissed by the team has already gotten more than 120,000 signatures. So what do we all think? Jeff, did he deserve to be lambasted online, and does he deserve to be kicked off the team?
I don't. Let's just pick up where we left off yesterday, shall we?
Yeah,
I don't think he should be fired. I'm over this, calling for people's jobs because you disagree with what they say. I think it's important that people speak their mind. I don't think hate speech should be involved. I don't agree with what he says whatsoever. The Catholic Church is becoming more inclusive with the LGBTQ community. They're saying they're welcoming them. I'm not here to stick up for the Catholic Church or what he said. I am here to stick up for free speech. And we need to get back to that. Have conversations and disagree, like me and Erica did yesterday, and walk away from the table, maybe being a better person or learning something that you didn't before. So this calling for someone's job just because you don't believe in what they agree with, it's got to go. And that, where does it end at? Your Muslim culture, where they make their women dress up and walk 5 paces behind them, they have to be fired for what they believe in their religion. I don't agree with that either, but we have to have freedom of speech.
Yeah, look, I'm the first person to think Harry Butker really missed the punt on this one, or whatever you do. You kick a ball, good for you.
Maybe get that nailed down.
Well, I don't think, whatever. Look, I think if you're trying to get women and female fans to watch the NFL, this isn't a great way to start. The thing that bothered me the most wasn't that he said you could be a housemaker and a wife. I think those things are phenomenal. My mother was that. However, it was to make us feel ashamed if we didn't want that. That got me going. He didn't allow choice. We've been told lies. We're not smart enough to think through it because we're women. Well, I think we can handle ourselves perfectly fine. Now, do I think he has a right to speak on any college campus? You bet your bum I do.
Your Butker, if you will.
Your Butker, if you will. Especially on a college campus. College campuses, I always say, the bastions of freedom of speech. If we don't allow speech that I don't like, if I don't stand up for your right to say something I don't agree with, then I'm a liar. Well, so you got to be there.
Go ahead, Al.
I was just going to say, not getting off the subject, but colleges are a little bit different in my eyes, Tor, because a lot of students have trouble with the idea that somebody was paid to come to their college that has the traditionally hateful rhetoric or misogynistic, whatever. That's neither here nor there. I listened to this speech in its entirety because I don't want to comment on anybody's, little sound bites. And in the room, Sam, there were laughs, applause breaks. This was his audience, and he was saying what they wanted to hear. I don't know if anybody in that audience has come out against this, but it seems like this was generally a well-received message. It was at a traditionally Catholic college, so traditional, in fact, that he kept telling people they should move to a place where there's a TLM church, and I heard it so much I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up, and it was traditional Latin Mass, which I didn't know, but then Erica told me.
Yes.
In Latin.
I told Al in Latin. So I went to a Catholic university, but it was a Vincentian Catholic university. My freshman year, I dated a guy who went to traditional Latin Mass. I also went to traditional Latin Mass with him. So I am familiar with some of the beliefs and the teachings, the understandings of what happens in that demographic. Now, I don't fit into that demographic, which is why we didn't work out. But
shocker.
But you know what? Blessings to him and blessings to me too. I think when we have these conversations, I'm always asking, I don't believe that cancel culture truly exists. I think what Al said is so brilliant, like months ago when he said...
That could have been so many things.
Yeah, it really could have. But Al said something to the effect of cancel culture just helps you find who your people are, like your true ride or dies, people who are reflecting you and you're reflecting them. But when I hear these types of things, what I'm hearing is someone who's made his numbers. He's made his numbers in terms of his socioeconomic status at $3.6 million a year. He's made his numbers in terms of speaking directly and knowing who his demographic is. I don't agree with anything that he said. I'm very happy for his wife that she found her calling. I am not going to diminish her calling because her calling is in the home. I can understand that there is a hierarchy in some of these situations. That is opinion-based, and I am okay with that.
Yeah.
But people need to understand, if you want to say, anybody can say whatever they want to say.
There's just consequences.
You just
Right.
have to be prepared and meet your numbers in order to hold and shield those consequences.
True. I just want to add the anecdote, and I agree with all of you, and I do not think his job should be called for, even though I disagree with everything he said. You mentioned the people in the audience, and you're right, and I listened to it too, and it was well received. But statistically wise, there's people in those audience that aren't going to be able to have children.
Totally.
They are part of the LGBTQ community, whether they've come out or not, whether they feel comfortable or not. And those people, whether they choose to not have kids, whether they can't have kids, or whether they are gay and they are fearful, that is only going to make them feel more shame.
I agree with that.
And there were people in that audience, statistically, that had to listen to this person on a pedestal and then take it in and then probably left that room feeling pretty crappy about themselves.
On their graduation.
On their graduation day. So that's all I'll say. I'm thinking about
great point.
those people. But should his job be called for? No. Come on, people.